What's up, everybody? Today we're going to talk about communications again. And the reason why we're going over it realistically is because there are a lot of people in a lot of different groups that I'm in still asking, how do we communicate in case shift happens? What should we do? What should we be looking for? How is it going to work? And I think because of the things that's happening in the world right now with the new presidential election. I'm not even going to bite my tongue now. The things that's going on with Musk and the breaches of security and just a whole lot of different things. People are worrying about a major shift in this country, and if what happens when communications go down and all of that kind of stuff. Well, we're going to get into that. I know it's sunny. I like being out in the sun, getting that good old vitamin D. Uh, um, I'm going to try and position this camera the best I can so you guys can see some things. And then I'm going to go over some things and we're going to have a quick conversation about what radios I recommend, what radios I like, and stuff like that. So if you stay with me, we're going to get right back into it. Okay, so what's before us right now outside of my truck is not junky. I'm not going to say that. But anyway, we have our regular, which I've done a review on this already. And if you go back into my radio communications channel, you'll see that we did one on this particular Baofeng radio. And we're going to talk a little bit about these antennas. This is a new one that I brought to the family, which is made by a company called Radiology, which I really, really like this radio, and we're going to get into it. And this is the newer Baofeng it hasn't just came out. It's been out for a little bit, but it's a two-way radio, and I think you guys would enjoy it. These two radios. One is Radiology, which I think is made in the US or Canada. And this one is definitely made in China. Both of them do frequency and channel. These also do FM bands. So we're going to get into that where you can listen to FM radio. There is a difference in the pricing, of course. But we'll get into the function of these. We're going to get into the function of these. I'm not going to go deep off into it because that's a whole nother video all in itself. And I want to kind of keep this as brief as possible, if that's even possible when I do videos, because it always seems like it goes longer. And then people are asking about CBs. This is a Cobra. This is a 20, I think this is a 29 LTD Chrome version, and this is a Cherokee base station, and this was given to me, well, it was handed down to me from my father. My father was a big ham radio person and a CB person, and this was one of the base stations he used. It has a lot more stuff to it, amplifiers, speakers, boosters. And this one plugs into the wall. Pretty much is where it draws its power from. From a 110 outlet. This is kind of made to be stationary. And this one is made to be portable. It does have a speaker at the bottom. You can add an external speaker to it if you want it louder. You can add an antenna booster to it if you like. And I'm still a firm believer in trusty old CBs. They have been around a long time. People have talked about them and say, oh, they're not this, and I wouldn't waste my time with them. I say you're wrong. I say you're wrong. I say you're wrong. They're awesome radios. And even when these fail, you're still able to get something with these. So I'm just telling you right now, get a CB radio. Get a CB radio. If you get a small one, if you get a big one, you can get a Cobra. I like Cobras. Cherokee's another nice brand. Midland has their own brand of them. There's so many different makers of CBs. You can find them on Amazon. If you still choose to shop with Amazon based on what's going on. I know a lot of people are boycotting. I can't speak for you and where you put your money. I'm just saying that they're out here. You could go to truck stops, and places, large truck stops, even Buc-ee's, and sometimes find these radios for sale, and they'll be in the area where they have the radar detectors for the vehicles and things like that. And you could get you a CB. Sometimes you can go to a pawn shop, a secondhand shop. You could go to a flea market, and people are selling these because they're in the mindset of nobody's really using them anymore. And then other people are intimidated by them because of the CB talk and jargon and the breaker and all of that. The modern CBers right now are not really using that lingo, that vernacular, radio vernacular or protocol anymore. They're talking on them just like you would talk on a cell phone, a radio or whatever, and say, hey, I'm 50 miles on I-19, blah, blah, blah. And that's that. If you're into the old school jargon, the mud duck, what's your 1020, got Smokey and a plain rapper, at your back door type of talk and things like that. You could definitely learn that. I mean, you could go to Google University and just, download the jargon and what it means and, and practice, rehearse it when you're talking on it and stuff like that. But these are the best old reliables, and you can hook different antennas to them, power boosters. You can hook them into your vehicles. They can plug into your cigarette lighter. I highly recommend, I don't care what nobody says, get you a CB radio. I'm going to say it again. Get you a CB radio. At least have one. If you get a handheld, you can get a handheld one. Those would work. You can get a mini. You want one that's going to give you the maximum amount of channels. I think some of these go up to 32 channels and stuff like that. These radios right here, I can get up to 210 on one, and I forgot what I can get on these, but I think it's roughly the same, 210, 235. And then you have about 15 or 25 private channels that you can program and go into if you want to call that private. There's a difference in the antennas. We're going to get into that. Now, like this antenna is made by, I guess I'm pronouncing them right, Abri, and it gives you a longer range. It's folded right now. This little rubber band here is just allowing it to fold over so it's not sticking all the way up. As you see, it's folded, but once you unwrap this, it'll unfold itself. And of course, the bigger the antenna, the better range you're going to get. So if you're only getting 1 mile to 3 miles, this might give you 2 to 5 miles or 2 to 6 miles. It just depends on the area. Because if you look where I'm at, look at all these trees. And this is just the front part of my woods. We're not even talking about the back part. So normally these radios, these antennas, I should say, let me see if we can screw this one off. They come and they let you know what the frequency rating is on them, meaning how far or what they can reach. This one, I didn't see it on RB. When I ordered this, I can't remember if it came with these radios or if it's one I ordered separate. But normally, if you look in here, in this part of the radio, somewhere around this part, they'll tell you what the frequency is from what hertz to what megahertz to whatever. And it's not showing here. It's not showing on the side, but it is made by Abri, and it's www.abri.com. But nowhere on here is it giving me the spec. So I guess at the time that this is ordered, if you know what range you want, you can order that range and they'll send it to you. Now, the interesting thing is with that, by them not being marked You know, are you actually getting the range that they say that you're getting? This is the box that the little orange Baofeng here came in. We'll just leave that. And I only had that. Right now, if you could look at it, it's in channel mode. Or it's in frequency mode. No, it's in frequency mode, I believe. And what's interesting about this one, and I'm trying to give you a close-up, is different from this one. Like, let's go here. We have an A and B, right? A and B usually takes you from channel mode to frequency mode, your different bands, and then of course your light and your squelching and stuff like that. What I like about these, for people that have a, what's the word, a learning curve for learning radios, everything is pretty much taken care of in one button push stuff. So let's go here. We're pushing the top button. See, that took us right into FM mode. Now in FM mode, you could go up and down with the arrow until you find a radio frequency. I'm trying not to get a copyright. So we're going to bring that back down. We're going to come out. All right. And all of that is here. Just a one button push system. Now right here. And then they have a thing too where you press and hold. Let's see if we can do that. And see, that turns on our emergency light. I don't know if you can see that. There's our emergency light. Hit it again. It cuts it off. You hit it and hold it one time, the light stays still. So that gives you your flashlight. So that's what I like about these versus going into this one where you have to go through a lot more processes that people tend to seem to get frustrated with. This radio makes it a lot easier. Okay. So the other thing is down here is another one button push situation. I'm trying to get this going for you. Let's turn it up. So now we're back in channel mode and stuff like that. Now, when you go here, what I like about it, I'm trying to get out of the sun a little bit. This is your menu mode. And this is where you would go in to program your channels, your squelch. You just hit the up and down arrows that are right here. And hold on, they're talking. That's on my radiology. And this one is kind of like your return button, but it also has dual functions too. So like you go here, this takes you, now this replaces the A and B button that's on this radio. See that? This button here is what this one does. That takes you up and down. See? Now you press and hold. Takes you to the weather channel. Let's turn this one off so we're not getting, turn the radiology off.
Humidity 42%. Wind north at 12 miles an hour. Pressure was 30.26 inches and rising. At Peachtree City, it was sunny. The temperature was 42. Relative humidity.
Now, if you press and hold this, again, it'll go into a scan mode.
Pressure was 30.26 inches.
And it'll start scanning for you and different things like that. You hold it, you press and hold for a while, it brings you back into your regular frequency and band mode. This also works the hash and the fours. Well, the hash will get you into scan mode too. If you hit menu and for this, all it does once you go into menu is it'll take you to any options that you want. So let's say if it was option 6, you can hit menu, then 6, and it will just take you to whatever option 6 is if you retain them to memory. So I like these. These are very simplistic. It takes away a lot of the learning curve from these. This does give you a little bit more. Actually, this one gives you a little bit more power. So I think this one goes up to 10, and I think this one goes up to about 5 hertz or something like that. And I think this one goes up to about 10. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure I'm correct. It's pretty close. This is the box that it comes in. Of course, you see it's already out. There it is. Let's open it up. So what you get with it? Of course, you get the owner's manual. You get the little mic and earpiece. I like these better. They do have some that come. You get one for each radio. You can hook up microphones to them, just like you see on the CBs here. You can get those kind of mics for those radios, but I prefer not to have those just for privacy. What I also like about these is the USB-C and USB charging capability, that you just plug your USB-C right in there and it charges right up. So that means if you got a little battery bank, if you have a little power station, if you are riding in your vehicle, these charge up very quickly that way, where you don't have to rely on a 110 or a base to set your radio in to charge. It's the same thing with the Radiology. The Radiology does the same exact thing, where you don't have to rely on a base or anything. You just plug your USB in and you're good to go. Now, how that works, the battery has a little, if you can see that right here, trying to get it where it can get out of the sun here. Let's see if we can get it out of the sun. But right here, you just pull this back and you can plug in your USB-C charger right here, this part, and just plug this into your power bank, your battery bank, into your vehicle if you have that kind of outlet, and go from there. They do have it where you can still plug them into the wall if you want to. So you would just put your USB right here, and then your USB-C into the radio, plug this into your 110 outlet, and you're good to go. Same thing. So you could do either or. This is how the radio comes packaged. The battery. Let's see what else we got in here. The strap, which is a little tedious to put on, and of course the belt clip. So you have all of that, and of course the two chargers for both radios. So what I did differently, and I'm gonna get into that. What I'm not seeing is, oh, okay, here it is, the antenna for the other radio. Now let's explain what I would do with this particular radio. So what I would do with this particular radio, this would be the radio that I would take with me all the time if I'm camping out, if I'm communicating with my friends in the woods, if we're doing different projects and things like that, where we just want to stay in connection with each other. And this is a GMRS radio. This is a GMRS radio. Oh, I forgot to show you this. It also came with 2 extended antennas. So these antennas will screw off. You unscrew it and you attach these. Let me see if these are rated. Yeah, so here's the number on them. So look. And this is also made by a Bree, interesting enough. Same company. AR-771 GMRS antenna. Okay. So the reason why you want a larger antenna, of course, as I said before, is it gives you more range. You can put range boosters on CBs to give yourself more range and stuff like that. I know they make some for ham radios and smaller radios. The Radiology is a made GMRS radio. So when you're looking for GMRS, it just means regular everyday people. I'm not going to go into the whole regular everyday people can use these radios versus using a ham radio. Ham radio typically requires you to have a license and a call sign and all of that. So you definitely want to stay in a situation where you can just have general communication. Both of these brands of radios can go from frequency to channel, frequency to channel, frequency to channel. But when you're on ham radio frequencies, they would prefer that you have a ham radio license before you start talking on them because of emergencies and everything like that. Now let's get into Radiology, and we're going to do an open box on the Radiology. So the Radiology pretty much works the same way, guys, with the one button push. This one actually comes with a siren. So if we hit the top button, gives you your emergency. One bump takes you to the radio. See, I just hit it one time. So, and then right here, hitting the bottom one, squelch, quick hit, back to radio. So you could do that with either one of these buttons. At the top here, what's interesting that I like about this radio, and this antenna did not come with this radio. This is another antenna that I purchased that I put on the radio. It came with a short antenna like this one. But what I like about this one is, you see this right here? This gives you satellite finding capability. So if somebody else has a radio like this one, let's say your husband, your wife, your kids, or whatever, you could program them into the GPS part of this radio. It has a GPS. And let's say you're in the woods and you get turned around, you got lost, whatever the case may be. This would help them to find you, or you to find them, or to help you find your base. Let's say somebody's at home base and you use your GPS to track you back to home base. So this comes with a GPS tracker where you can track and find the person that you're looking for. Now, setting it up is a little tricky, just a little bit. It's not that deep. Of course, with all directions aren't directions anymore. They just kind of throw stuff out there, and they figure if they get you most of the way, then you can figure the rest out. And that's how directions are nowadays. But it works kind of the same way as this one. And your menu button, press and hold. And then, okay, when you press and hold the menu button, you just operate this, and this just takes you where you need to go. I hit it too fast. But anyway, push to talk 1, push to talk 2, exit. I'm so tongue-tied today. It will exit you out of different channels and menu modes that you're in. So here we go. We hit exit. That takes us right back out. We go on the up and down. This scans us into radio settings, the GNSS, program channel, radio information, which gives you your radio information. And that's it. The GNS helps you get into your different settings and stuff like that for, what am I trying to say? Your GPS and things like that. This also has a mic set up where you can hook up your mic and all that stuff here on the side. I didn't attach the belt clip yet. I did put the strap on. And it's always good to either have your strap and clip on at the same time. Why? Because if you're hiking and you're walking and you drop it, you know, it prevents it from dropping. The clip will help you to keep it on your body. I like the cord if you put it around your wrist or hanging off a lanyard or something that you have on your breastplate or however you're carrying it on your belt, however you want to carry it. But I recommend putting them both on so you have options to keep up with your radio. Neither one of these are waterproof. I've learned that some of the Baofeng waterproof ones, they cost a little more, but you get a little less features. This Baofeng gave you more features and more options versus the model that they sell like this that has waterproofing. Now, am I going to get a waterproof radio? Absolutely. Now, if you want to learn ways to keep your radio from getting wet, I would say get you a Ziploc bag and put it in the Ziploc bag and carry it that way, and keep it closed up, in case you drop it. I mean, you can still hear the chatter and everything coming through the Ziploc bag. So don't think, oh, if I put it in the bag, I won't be able to hear. Yeah, you'll still be able to hear. Especially if you're crossing streams, you're kayaking or something like that, you may want to keep it in a Ziploc bag, to keep direct water from getting into it. I guess over time, if it did submerge and sit for any length of time, some humidity or something would actually build up in that bag over time. But if it was dropped, of course, if it was dropped in the radio and it was only in there a few minutes or 10 minutes, you should be able to grab it out of there and the radio should be fine. But they do sell them waterproof. You can get them waterproof. Now, here's the thing, too. They have gotten rid of a few frequencies, and I think I mentioned this in the last video, that we won't be able to operate on. These I got in enough time where this radio was not affected by that change. Okay, this Baofeng I got in just enough time that it was not affected by that change. Okay, so if you want to know the model of this radio, let me show you. Let me zoom. This is model GM15 Pro. So if you're looking for it in this GMRS, it will say GMRS. So if you're looking for it and you want to buy it, it's model GM-15 Pro. Now, like I said, this is the one that would be my camper, my camping, my hiking, my bushcraft trips, my RV running, my whatever. This one would be my emergency truck radio that my wife and I would have all the time. And these would be the ones that we would keep in EMP proof bag to keep them from getting zapped from EMP, electromagnetic pulse, if you guys want to know what that is. And this is what I would definitely use. And these would be specific for me and my wife, or me and my family members, for us to keep up with each other and track each other. So these would not be in constant, regular rotation. But at the end of the day, these would be the ones that I would use all the time, when it comes down to family. And as you see how the frequencies and everything are put on here, see, it's radioddoty, I can't even say it, but there you go. And it shows you what the band is on here. Remember, I told you they usually have it marked on the antennas to let you know. I'm trying to get a good zoom on what the band and the frequency is. So those most good antennas will show you what the band is, what the range is, and how far that you want to reach. So when you purchase these radios, also remember, antennas are specific to the type of radios that you have. So keep that in mind. You want a GMRS antenna going to a GMRS radio. you want a ham radio antenna for a ham radio. Okay? Got that? Okay, good. So now we're going to do the open box, and I'm trying to do this with one hand. And this is just to show you pretty much how the radiology radio came, okay? Radiosity, as I keep saying radiology, radiosity. Okay. Let's get it out of here. Okay, there we go. Then there's no addresses on that. All it shows is the model. Like, this is the antenna that I just showed you. So in here is this antenna. This one I'm showing you right now. Okay, that's all that is. And it's just showing you what the antenna is and all that. See? Okay. So they have a scan barcode here if you want to get to their website and all of that. This is their branding and logo. Okay. Open it up. Owner's manual, user manual, radio. Uh-oh. The battery. Belt clip. The antenna that came with the radio. Again, the USB to USB-C charging. An adapter if you want to plug it into the wall. And the earpiece and mic setup. And your strap. So your strap, your earpiece and mic setup. That's all that comes with it. So I'm just showing you guys, let me flip this. So I'm just showing you guys all of that to say I could go into more in depth with the radiosity radio and the new Baofeng if you want. Yeah, pay attention. Don't pay no attention to my garage. It's junky. I got to clean it out. But those are the things that I want you guys to think about. Get a CB radio. I highly recommend that you get a CB radio. Everybody's worrying about communication. And another thing you might see on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok shop and all that, they're pushing these radios called rapid radios and things of that nature, or rapid radios in that family. Just remember, those are glorified cell phones, meaning that they would still operate like a cell phone. Those cards work off of SIM cards. Remember, you put the SIM cards in your cell phone. You put the SIM card in your cell phone. You got a program number, and that is what accesses you to your network. Those radios operate the same way. You put SIMs in them. The SIMs are then activated to a network. Some of them have will come where you can put in 3 different types of SIM cards, 2 different types of SIM cards. And the reason for that is because if you're trying to, let's say a tower is down somewhere else, then you could switch to the second SIM card and it'll try and connect you to another different tower, another different location, so you can communicate. I'm not saying they're not a bad idea, but what I'm saying, if we lose cellular service or we lose satellite service, I really don't see the benefit of the radio, because then the only thing that's left is still the two-way talk, and that's still only going to get you that mile to 3 miles, depending on if you don't have anything blocking you, or a mile or 5 miles where you got open land and something can capture, you can get that point to point. CBs do work off of repeaters and things like that, but they have been the old reliables for years. I'm not saying if you're not into doing that. And I'm not saying don't get a rapid radio if you want to spend the money and load up the SIM cards. Some of them come with SIMs, some of them don't. You have to purchase your SIMs, and you got to make sure you got the right type of SIMs. When they say you can go talk to somebody all over the world, that also depends on the type of SIM card that you put in those radios in order to talk. Some come pre-programmed with them and you can add another one. Some come where you have to add all three. So, or all two, it depends on the style of radio. Some take three, some take two. I think most take two. I rarely seen any of them that just take one. And now they have a cell phone, and that's also on Amazon. And it's like a cell phone, and they call it a push-to-talk radio phone, where you can open up the casing on the radio, the little flaps and everything. You can actually screw an antenna into your cell phone, and then it puts you into what they call intercom. But it's only good as the next person that has that type of phone and so forth. Otherwise, intercom, all it's going to do is try and make a phone call to a person that has a regular cell phone. And I don't see the point in purchasing that. So hopefully this helped. How do we communicate? We communicate having multiple ways to communicate. CBs, radios of different strengths, different antennas, coming up with a plan, coming up with a community that you're going to communicate with. And there, that's pretty much it as it pertains to technology. Otherwise, then we just going back old school, drums, fire, sticks and cans. I don't know what to tell you on that. But as far as technology goes, that's where we're at. And if you guys want me to do more of an in-depth on the new Baofeng, the Pro 15, or the Radioddoty Radio, comment below and I'll break it down. But they're fairly simple. They're pretty much no-brainer. Like I said, the only thing that you would run into with the Radioddoty is just getting the programming and the time zone set for you have to set the time zone for your GPS. And the book doesn't break that down very well. It just tells you have to do it. And then when you go, it's just a list of numbers. And I got to look those up to see if those numbers are corresponding to a particular time zone. But it's like 1, 15, 12, 13. I'm like, what the hell is that? So I'm gonna have to look that up and see if those numbers correspond with a particular time zone or location, because it's supposed to be global, so those numbers could be anywhere in the world, and you have to just know, okay, well, I'm in the US under this time zone, or I'm in Canada and I'm under this time zone, so I have to use number whatever is what I'm assuming that those numbers mean. If I'm in Africa or Japan, then it would be the same thing. I would have to find those numbers that correspond to that location and then find the time zone and time and put that in there. So yeah, hopefully this helps. I still went over 37 minutes and I was really trying not to. I got another video couple of videos coming up for y'all. I know I'm late on this one, but I wanted to get this to you all. If you have any questions, inbox, or hit in the comments, and I'll go live. I'll just go live. I'll do a live and we can do a Q&A live. If y'all want to do that, hit me up. We'll do a Q&A live. We'll do more radio demonstrations. We're going to have more vlogs coming up of us camping and stuff, because camp season is coming up and all of that. So, man, please like and subscribe. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully this gave you some glimmer of hope and just a thought process. I'm going to repeat it again. How you communicate: buy radios, buy good radios, invest in good antennas if you can, get a CB. I don't care. Get a good CB and good antenna for your CB. Get a booster for your CB. And just have different ways. So if one fails, you can go to the next one. If that fails, you can go to the next one. It's just That's the best way I can explain it. All right, I'm out.